I think it's a sad world that we live in, that little children are, little tiny children are being taught not to talk to strangers. And it's a sad world because it is a dangerous world, and because people naturally want to try to protect their families and their children. And I think they're doing the best they can by warning their children of what the dangers are and doing their best to protect them. But the answer is in looking at what's creating such a dangerous world. That's really the answer. So if you have somebody in a family, if you have a child, let's just say you have a teenager in a family that's hurting the younger kids, okay, you can blame and shame and, throw that teenager out or put them in a reform school or send them to prison or whatever you need to do to protect your kids. And you may need to do that. But in the bigger picture, we have to look at what happened to that teenager that they're hurting those children. Were they sexually abused and they're acting out their sexual abuse on the younger kids? Was somebody hurting them at school that we didn't know about? Was a parent the one who was hurting them? What happened to that child that they're acting out in a way that's deleterious to other people? And on a societal level, we have to see, why do we have so many sexual perpetrators now? Why do we have school shootings like in the United States, there are so many mass shootings that there's more mass shootings than days in a year. That wasn't like that when I was a kid growing up. So what's happened to the mental health of the country? And I call it the family of America because it's the largest family system that we all live in here in America besides the global community. Um, what's happened in the family of America that is perpetuating and making more extreme this kind of acting out? So we really have to look at what's happening in the family system that's generating this instead of just blaming the most symptomatic people among us. Do we need to hold accountable the most symptomatic people among us? Yes, of course. We have to do something to try to protect ourselves. But if we really want to protect ourselves, we have to look at the origins. Just like when a person comes to therapy, where do they go in therapy? To their childhood. What was their upbringing like? What were their formative experiences? What happened to them that maybe created patterns in their life that were not functional or harmful or addictive or abusive? And so we need to do that with ourselves as larger communities. What's our formative experiences here that have led to, and what's happening now? And we could go into a lot about that. What's all playing out on social media? What's in the news? What's in the headlines? Do we talk about that there's another mass shooting? Yeah, we probably will. But could we talk about what happened to that person? What set them up from being an innocent infant to being a mass shooter? Because something happened to them, and often it's many things happened to them that were extremely painful.